Alright everybody, and welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be doing a repair on the Lemax Isle of Doom Lighthouse. Let's get into it. Okay, so the Isle of Doom. Quick backstory, I purchased this in a lot from someone who was selling off their old Spooky Town stuff, got a pretty decent deal on it, and truthfully been wanting one of these for a really long time. I'm going to be doing a review on it, however, because there is some stuff in the history of this specific piece that's pretty interesting, and it was only made for a few years, and definitely some things changed during that time. But anyways, long story short, this is a 2006, and we're going to get into the details of the stuff that I'm referring to on the review video that we're going to be doing. But today I want to focus on the repair, because I like to think that sometimes when you pick one of these up and they have some damage, stuff like that, I'm probably not the only one who have, been through this kind of thing with this kind of damage, regardless of which piece it is. So I like to take you along on the repairs. Hopefully, if this happened to you, a video like this might make you a little bit more confident in taking on the task yourself. And stuff like we're going to do today is really pretty simple. A lot of the repairs, it's almost more intimidating to actually get in and do it than it actually is to just do the repair itself. So if you just follow along with me here today, we'll get through it together, and who knows, maybe we'll learn a thing or two. So anyways, starting off, we have the lighthouse on top that was completely just gone. It just missing, I guess you could say. The glue on the seam came off, or the resin or whatever it is they used. The gentleman had told me that it had never been displayed, that it had basically been sitting, and he thought that maybe the heat from his storage unit might have loosened it, and it's very possible. Or just from moving boxes around, sometimes these things happen. So regardless, we're gonna fix that today. And the other thing that was wrong with it was this little spike pole thing. I don't know the correct name of exactly what it is. I'm sure it's fishing related to some degree, considering the house itself. But anyway, not a big deal. We're just going to glue that back on as well. And like I said, there are some differences between the different models. So like for instance, and again, we'll get into this when I do a review on it, but this little spike thing, it faces two different ways depending on which year you got the house. If you look at the box for this house and you look at like the 2004 model, there's slight differences like that. It's still on there, just facing, whichever way. In my case, I think that this house has been, I don't know, maybe worked on a tad bit. And by that, I just mean like maybe glued on at some point, that little spike piece. Because when I was testing it, I noticed that it kind of didn't sit exactly right, so we're gonna make do, and it's gonna look great either way. So sometimes you gotta be a little creative in a repair to kind of get the best of both worlds. You wanna get it as looking back to factory as you can, but at the same point, if a house has been worked on before, sometimes there's old resin or little chips missing, stuff like that, and you just gotta kind of make it look like yours. You make it your own, I guess is what I'm getting at. So anyways, we're gonna start off today with the repair on the lighthouse. There's a couple tools that we're gonna need. You're gonna need a small glue gun and some glue sticks. I did want to point out that on this glue gun, I recently picked this one up from Michael's. I have a few different glue guns, but this one has like a really small tip, so the glue doesn't come out so bulky. It's more like little thin strips, and in something like this, that's what you're gonna want, especially when you're just filling in little tiny seams and we really don't want the glue to kind of show or bubble out too much. Something like this is a really cool thing to have. I didn't know about it. It was just luck that I happened to end up with this one, but it's now going to be a tool in the arsenal. So the first thing we're going to want to do is just make sure that there's no wires connected to the piece that we're gluing back on, or anything that might be in the way and stop it from sitting correctly. I've already gone ahead and done that, and we did luck out in this case. It's a smooth surface with nothing really causing any issues. So you're always going to want to dry fit everything before you attach it, because it's a lot harder to fix a problem than it is to prevent a problem. So in that case, you're going to see me here just literally drop it on, make sure that it looks like it's in the right position based on the picture, make sure things are lined up, it's not tilting one way or the other, etc. And in this case, it was just fine. So I'm gonna pull it back off. We're gonna grab our handy dandy glue gun, and we're just gonna run a bead of glue kind of around the seam. You can see where the existing resin was. It's basically a circle. You know, you don't have to get every inch of it, but you know, majority just to kind of hold it on. And this is kind of where that thin bead of glue from this specific gun comes in really well, because you don't want a bunch of glue coming out if you can help it. You want to just kind of nail it right where it's at to make it look like it's one piece, right? Very important. And also keep note that in this house, when you're putting the piece on and off to glue it and whatnot, that there is that light that goes in the middle, so you want to center that as best as you can within reason, and just make sure that it will clear. So again, you know, dry fitting, all that kind of stuff, but it shouldn't be a problem. There's, you know, pretty obvious ring of where it goes. It just kind of sits right in there. So pretty simple, right? Okay, so the last repair is going to be that stake pole thing. I'm sure there's again a proper name. Let me know in the comments below. But anyway, for the sake of this conversation, it's going to be a pole thing. So same process. We're just going to dry fit it and try to get it to match the same angle as the box. Unfortunately, particularly in this case, it looked like that there might have been a repair on this specific pole before, and that it wasn't going to exactly sit right to try to follow the same exact angle as the box. So in my case, I'm going to just kind of make the best of it and find out, you know, a balance between of what looks good and what's, you know, close to kind of the original setting. Again, sometimes you have to do that, right? Make it your own. Not a big deal. It's going to look fantastic either way. You know, and hey, you may just not like the way that it sits originally, and it's off anyway, so put it where you want or how you want, or, you know, whatever's clever. So very simple. We're going to just start with the dry fit as normal, find the right angle, make sure that it's going to sit flush and actually look like, that it's part of the dock thing itself. So after you've done that, we're going to grab our glue gun, add just the tiniest of dabs to it, and we're going to simply put it in place, hold it for a couple seconds, and you should be ready to rock. Okay, so we've completed our repair mission today. We have repaired our lighthouse, we've repaired our pole thing, and it's back to running at 100%. You know, there's no problem with buying a damaged piece or something that just needs a little glue, or, you know, nothing wrong with that at all. And a lot of times you can get one that's like really a good price and it just needs a couple pieces glued back on. And once you do that, you're back at where you started with the house you always wanted, right? So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In fact, I look for houses constantly that have issues, and there's my phone. So maybe that's another house. So I'm gonna get to that, but in the meantime, I thank you so much for following along with this video. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.